since it was announced that Cha Eun-woo, a member of the popular South Korean group ASTRO and actor, officially began his mandatory military service on July 28, 2025, public attention has never receded. The presence of a top celebrity in the military training system not only adds to the media's appeal, but also raises expectations, concerns, and even rumors. Cha Eun-woo is not the first idol to enter the military with a big spotlight. However, his massive popularity, coupled with his image as a face genius, owner of a perfect face, made every movement and interaction in the barracks a subject of public discussion. From official reports and soldier stories leaked to online forums, several unique stories have emerged. Soldiers are willing to queue to have their dishes washed by Eun-woo, to a sergeant who has to be reprimanded because too many people stare at the idol endlessly. However, behind the light story, a serious issue arose that had made the atmosphere in the training center tense. Some online forums and gossip outlets reported an instructor who was reportedly behaving casually and unpleasant towards Cha Eun-woo. The issue developed quickly because it was considered unnatural. An instructor who was supposed to be an example was allegedly treating one of his soldiers with an attitude that caused discomfort. Furthermore, the news mentions that division member Cha Eun-woo intervened to mediate the situation. In other words, there was an internal dynamic in the barracks that went so far as to drag the solidarity of other fellow soldiers. Although there has been no official confirmation from the military or the agency, this issue has been the subject of heated discussion among the public and fans. For some, this highlights a major dilemma. How can a celebrity be treated in a military system that is notoriously rigid, disciplined, and demands absolute equality between soldiers? To understand the full context of this case, it is necessary to first look at how the South Korean conscription system works, especially for public figures. Conscription in South Korea is a consequence of the country's security conditions that are still tied to the conflict with North Korea. Every physically and spiritually healthy male South Korean citizen is required to serve in the military for a duration of about 18 to 21 months, depending on the branch of the military, Army, Navy, Air Force, or certain police and public service units. There are no special exemptions for celebrities, athletes, or other public figures, except for those who have a serious medical condition or obtained a dispensation due to certain international achievements, e.g. Olympic gold medals or prestigious classical music awards. As such, Cha Eun-woo's entry into the training barracks is not legally special. He was just a 28-year-old man serving a state duty. However, the social reality is much different. His status as a famous idol keeps him every move under public scrutiny. The first days of conscription begin with 5 weeks of basic training. This is where the soldiers are forged physically, mentally, and disciplined. The instructors act as supervisors, trainers, as well as guides, who determine the patterns of daily life of soldiers. Instructors are usually known for being loud. They demand full compliance with the rules, pressure soldiers to cooperate in teams, as well as eliminate individual egos. For ordinary people, this time is very heavy, especially for a celebrity who is used to living with a busy schedule, management team, and media spotlight. Numerous examples of previous cases show how difficult it is for celebrities to adapt in the military world. From G-Dragon Big Bang to Park Bo-gum, each faces a different spotlight. The celebrity was required to remain the same as other servicemen, but at the same time could not avoid excessive attention from his colleagues. Cha Eun-woo's case is similar. Not only does he have to adapt to a rigorous training schedule, but he also faces the phenomenon of idols in the barracks. Overimpressed soldiers, gossip-hungry media, and now, rumors of an instructor's unprofessional attitude. The instructor has a vital role. They usually came from senior soldiers who were chosen for their discipline and ability to manage others. Their task was not only to train technically, but also to psychologically supervise new soldiers. Therefore, when there are reports that an instructor behaves arbitrarily towards a particular soldier, let alone a celebrity, this has the potential to cause major polemics. On the one hand, it can be considered a form of disciplining. However, on the other hand, it can lead to accusations of discrimination, abuse of authority, or simply unprofessional personal attitudes. To understand why this case is so attention-grabbing, we need to look at Cha Eun-woo's journey before enlisting in the military. Cha Eun-woo was born on March 30, 1997 with the real name Lee Dong-min. He is known as a multi-talented figure, singer, actor, model, as well as MC. His popularity has soared since debuting with the group ASTRO in 2016, and expanded further when starring in the dramas My ID is Gangnam Beauty, 2018, and True Beauty, 2020 to 2021. The nickname Face Genius stuck firmly to him, referring to the good looks considered perfect by the Korean public. However, Eun-woo doesn't just rely on visuals. He is also known as a student of the Performing Arts Department at Sungkyunkwan University, showing his academic side. Before entering the army, Eun-woo was active in various fields, starred in the drama Wonderful World 2024. Continuing his activities as a solo singer and member of ASTRO, he often appears on entertainment and reality shows. However, the years 2023 to 2024 became a difficult time for him after the departure of his best friend and groupmate, Moonbin. Eun-woo is seen visiting Moonbin's grave several times, including ahead of his departure for the military in July 2025. This shows his emotional side and loyalty to the ASTRO family. When it was officially announced it would start basic training, many fans expressed concern. However, photos circulating show Eun-woo looking dashing in a military uniform. The public reaction was mixed. Admiration, anxiety, as well as curiosity as to how an idol as popular as himself could survive in such a harsh military environment. The issue about the instructor being called unpleasant towards Cha Eun-woo first emerged from the military's online community. A number of forum users claim to have heard from colleagues or relatives who are undergoing training at the same center. Although unverified, this story quickly spread because it involved a big name. Rumor has it that an instructor treats Eun-woo too harshly and seems unprofessional. Some of the sentences are rumored to be angled, for example questioning why an idol can serve the same as an ordinary soldier, or insinuating the excessive attention given to him. The training barracks is a stressful space. All servicemen are on a tight schedule. Early awakening at 6 o'clock, intensive physical training, theoretical classes, weapons training, until the evening inspection. In such an atmosphere, the presence of a celebrity can be the center of the spotlight. Some soldiers are rumored to be too enthusiastic, asking for autographs in secret, handing Eun-woo dishes to wash, even pushing each other just to stand close to her. This makes the dynamics in the barracks so different from usual. The instructor on duty seems to feel that the situation interferes with the course of discipline. This is where the tough attitude begins to emerge, which in some reports feels directly directed towards Eun-woo. There is no recorded evidence or official documents that can confirm the content of the conversation. However, some witnesses from the forum describe that the instructor several times reprimands Eun-woo in a high tone, even for small mistakes. There is an impression that the harsher treatment is not just about breaking the rules, but also because of Eun-woo's status as an idol. The reprimand had made the barracks atmosphere quiet, because other soldiers felt the situation was unnatural. This moment becomes a turning point when several members of Eun-woo's division decide to intervene. They attempted to mediate, arguing that the atmosphere of the practice could become unconducive if the reprimand felt like a personal attack. The involvement of division members is very important. In the military, solidarity between soldiers is key. If a soldier feels excessively pressured, his division mates have a moral responsibility to support. From stories circulating, some soldiers approached the instructor politely after the training session was over. They said that the harsh treatment of Eun-woo could lead to bad perceptions, both among the soldiers and outside the barracks if this news was leaked. This step was apparently quite successful in defusing the situation. Although there was no official clarification, further news said the atmosphere became more normal afterwards. As soon as this rumor emerged, Korean and international media were quick to highlight it.